Shabbat Shalom, good evening. I am Rabbi Javier Carapan, and I am joined this evening by Leslie Zucker and our musicians and our technical team. You can't see them, but we actually have a team of more than one tonight, so it's great. Welcome. Thank you to our BOW committee for bringing us beyond our walls. And if you would like to be part of this wonderful group that does this for us every week, we invite you to contact our office and we'll get you in touch with the team leader. Now, if you're joining us from home, and there might be more people from home today than in person, the weather is a factor here in Overland Park tonight. It is about 8 degrees outside.
Before the wind chill.
Before the wind chill.
We appreciate the brave souls who braved the cold.
So welcome all of you who are joining us on the streaming. If you have any difficulties during the streaming, we invite you to write down this number, 913-303-1134. If you're new, that's our technical assistance line, and you can text that number, and one of our docents will get back to you and help you find other ways to watch. We have several kind of ways and places where you can go if one of them fails. For those of you here in person, we are calling the page numbers in the square brackets. Please take a moment to silence your electronic devices, which we are doing now. Yes, very good. So we join together and welcome Shabbat on page 120. At home, if you have candles ready, we invite you to light them and join us. So we welcome Shabbat together, page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. We continue on page 127 at the bottom of the page. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessings, O God. Page 138, we continue with Lecha Dodi. We're singing stanzas 1, 2, 3, and 9.
And 9.
There you go. Oh, thank you. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela yaradai dai dai 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 lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela shamor bezachor bedibur echad yishmi'anu elam yuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo tiferer ve'letehila echad odi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela echad odi לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך אפיך, רב לך שבת בעמק הבכה, והוא יחמול עלייכם לה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
בריא ושלום עטרת פלה, גם בשמחה ובצורה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה,
לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Our service continues as we welcome Shabbat on page 140, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Psalm 92. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך הרנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. We continue together at the bottom of page 145. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. If you're able, please stand for Baruch Hu. Yai dai dai dai, yai lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai. Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. We continue together on page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch Ata Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael, Amecha Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשכנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך, לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, ובהם יומם ולילה. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לעולליכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Amen. Continue together on page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, אוסף אלה, מי כמוך באלים אדוני. Standing among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, LeShalom. Bahamideinu, Shomreinu lechayim, ufros aleinu, sukat shlomecha.
Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, LeShalom. Standing among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai. Thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world. Scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai, שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד תהילתך. אדוני שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד תהילתך.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Mekone HaKol, Bezocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei Vnehem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham be'Zerat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye metim atah Rav lehoshia, Mahashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye metim berachamim rabim, Zohomech nofelim verofech cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha bal gevurot umido melach. Melech memitu mechaye umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah lahachayot metim. Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hametim, Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yalalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Our Amidah continues silently to page 180.
Iyu leratzon imrefi ve'gyon libi lefanecha.
Now turn our thoughts to those needing return home and healing, We start with a Misheberach for those in captivity or whose whereabouts are unknown. May the one who blessed Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Leah and Rachel, bless, watch, and guard the captives, men, women, and young children, among others of the house of Israel, who found themselves in distress and in captivity. May Adonai grant mercy upon them, take them out from darkness and gloom, break their chains, redeem them from their ordeals, and return them quickly to the comfort of their families. And may the words of the prophet Isaiah be fulfilled speedily in our own time. Ufeduei Adonai yeshuvun, then the ransomed of Adonai shall return. Uvaot Zion berina v'simchat olam al rosham, and come with shouting to Zion, crowned with joy everlasting. Sason v'simcha yasigu v'nasu, yagon v'anacha. They shall attain joy and gladness, while sorrow and sighing flee. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Our attention now turns closer to home, to those among us who are in need of healing, of mind, of body, and of spirit. If you are with us online, you may have access to the Misheberach by following the links in the comments. If you'd like to offer names, please type them in the comments so we can all see them. For those of us here in person, the Misheberach list is in your announcements. We also invite you to share names as I point around the sanctuaries around this side.
Very much.
If we think of those in need of healing, we join together. The Misheberach prayer is on page 158.
The ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
We add a prayer for those dealing with addiction and mental health struggles. May the one who blessed our ancestors bring blessings of strength, companionship, and healing to those of us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround them with loving kindness, grace, companionship, and peace.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
From healing, we go to simcha, and if you have a simcha, a special joy from this past week that may include a birthday, anniversary, good news and accomplishments, we invite you to either type them on the comments or come up here and tell us who you are and why you are having a simcha. And I'm gonna try to watch at least Facebook Live to see what happens. You have to tell us who you are and why you're here, please. For the benefit of everybody watching.
Who am I?
Who am I?
Okay.
My name is Chris, and as of 2 weeks ago, I am officially retired from my employer of the last 46 years. It doesn't really seem real yet. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm here.
And it was not a rash decision, that we should say.
It's not a rush. This is
But we get him in the choir for Shabbat Shirah, so that's what you're doing with your time.
Any other simchas? I'm looking online. You're going to stand all there by yourself.
I've not been invited anywhere else.
Ooh. He
Anybody?
really doesn't take a hint, does he?
They're saying Mazel Tov, Chris. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It takes a few minutes, seconds actually, from the moment I say, do you have any more simchas online, until they hear it and they type it. So, all righty. Well, now, do you have any other simchas? Anybody else? No? All right. Well, then we gather all our simchas and we offer this prayer. Divine source of blessings, we thank you for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now with gratitude as we share in the happiness of those who have marked their good news and accomplishments. Adonai, be with them now and always. May they be blessed with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow, and with much health and happiness now and always. As we honor each one of you for the gifts that you bring to our sacred community, we join together in song to mark this sacred occasion.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
He's slow, but he gets there.
So before I speak, I want to say a few words. Never a good sign. But this week's Torah portion, probably one of the most important Torah portions of the entire Torah. But seriously, this one you know very well. And I count on you, most of you, having at least a vague recollection that one of the reasons that the Israelites, the Jews, were able to leave Egypt had to do with plagues. Are you all with me? Yes. All right. So, and there were 10 of them. All right. And you kind of remember what they were. I'm not going to mention them all. I need you to make sure that you remember what they kind of were. All right. All right. Okay. And what they were about things falling on them and boils and all those things. All right. All right, moving on. That's a preview of what I think you all know. But I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. Now, on the first day of creation, God said, Yehi or, and there was light. And darkness was dispelled. And again, at the birth of the Jewish nation, the interplay between darkness and light took center stage during the 9th plague, and that is Choshech, darkness. This week's Torah portion, Parashat Bo, which literally means go, tells us that for 3 days the Egyptians were not able to see the light of the sun. Opinions are divided as to what exactly caused the darkness. Perhaps it was a sandstorm or some unusually long solar eclipse. I know this isn't scientific, but just stay with me for a minute. The truth is, we may never know. But one thing is clear, the plagues carried symbolic meaning. In the religion of ancient Egypt, the sun was considered to be a supreme deity. Thus, hiding the sun could be seen as a direct challenge to their belief system. It was a sign, a miracle occurrence to make a point. Adonai is God and none else. Professor Nahum Sarna taught that, quote, the plague of darkness would have had the devastating psychological effect of revealing to the Egyptians the impotence of their supreme God, thereby forecasting imminent doom, end quote. Now, some commentators have suggested that the ninth plague, Choshech, might have been different from the others in more than one way. They ask, could the Egyptians not light lamps? I've never thought about it this way. Darkness would have been the easiest plague to deal with. I can't imagine people gathering around bonfires, each neighborhood hosting their own candle party. Who knows what they could have come up with. They could have done something to cope with the situation, but they did not. The question is, why didn't they? Now you can see that the answer might be that they couldn't, because if they could, they would have, but they didn't. Are you with me still? Now, there is no answer provided in the Torah, so maybe we need to think about darkness in a different way. Maybe this is a darkness that cannot easily be dispelled by lighting a candle. I wish the Torah would have used a different word, right? Choshechi, something, like darkness, but it didn't. It used the word darkness. So this is a kind of darkness that could not be dissipated by turning on a switch. But some hints of how different this darkness was can be gleaned from the Torah itself. In Exodus 10, verse 23, we read the following. People, and these are the Egyptians, could not see one another, and for 3 days no one could get up from where he was. Ulechol bnei Israel, but the bnei Israel, the Jews, haya or b'moshavatam. They, in other words, us, the Jews, enjoyed light in our dwellings. This is puzzling beyond understanding. So darkness, the frogs, all the things, they all came on everybody apparently. And the Jews dealt with it like anybody else did. But this darkness is such that it only felt like darkness in the households of the Egyptians. Ulechol bnei Israel, but for the Jews, they enjoyed light in their dwellings. So perhaps the plague was different because it shattered the social fabric of Egypt. It says nobody could get up from when they were. They could not interact with anybody else. And it shattered then the social interactions in Egypt because it targeted human relationships. The Etz Chaim commentary suggests that the ninth plague was perhaps a spiritual or psychological darkness, a deep sort of depression. By now, the Egyptians had lived through frogs, boils, locusts, you can do it. This is when you need to remember your lists. So, who could blame them if they felt a bit discouraged about the future. I mean, they'd gone through a lot by then. And they had no control, right? Because this was all Pharaoh's doing. If they felt deeper and deeper into a sense of disconnection with each other, if they perhaps, because of that, had lost hope. I'd venture to suggest that many of us have felt a sense of discouragement and perhaps some depression more than once since the tragic events of October the 7th in Israel. Anti-Semitism has shown its ugly face again, now disguised as anti-Israel. And many of us who have worked on developing interfaith friendships found that those relationships were not immune to centuries of anti-Jewish feelings. There is a sort of spiritual darkness associated with anti-Semitism. And it is hard for us to see the light, but also it is hard for them to see us for who we really are, fellow human beings. Darkness represents the fact that the Egyptians could not see the other anymore. They could not see other people's needs or their dreams. We live in troublesome times, in an uncomfortable darkness for the Jewish people, a type of darkness that we have not experienced perhaps since the Holocaust. When I read about darkness in the Torah, I cannot but think about the hostages who are still in Gaza, who are living under spiritual and physical darkness, underground in the tunnels. It is difficult to imagine how their darkness will end. What can bring light to them? Many of us are conflicted as well. We don't wish darkness upon the Palestinians, but we want light for our people. I cannot but think about what it means. We want the hostages safely returned to their families, and we want that now. But sometimes, feeling discouraged and depressed can trigger feelings of isolation. Thinking that our problems are only ours may lead us to be concerned only about ourselves. And this is precisely how the Torah describes the Egyptians. People who could no longer see one another for who they truly were, let alone having any compassion for the enslaved Jews. The Etz Chaim commentary teaches, quote, "The person who cannot see his neighbor is incapable of spiritual growth, incapable of rising from where she is currently," end quote. So perhaps, indeed, the darkness was not physical darkness at all. This is a cautionary tale about what happens to the Egyptians and to all anti-Semites until today. They live in a sort of darkness of the spirit. As a group, the Egyptians lost their ability to see the other. In darkness, they remained isolated, concerned only with their own future, and that was their big mistake. In the Talmud, we find a discussion about how to define the appropriate time to recite our morning prayers. The rabbis teach that a new morning, a new day begins when we can recognize the face of another person as a friend. What a beautiful teaching when one can see one another and recognize them as friends. Then the darkness has begun to lift. We must, each in our own way, help to lift up the darkness which has befallen over the Jewish people as well as over the Palestinians. We do it by seeing each other for who we are, equal, valuable, worthy human beings. We do it by seeing beyond ourselves and into the other, because that is the only way to banish darkness forever. Tomorrow, marks the third anniversary of the inauguration of President Joe Biden. And at that momentous occasion, the poet Amanda Gorman spoke about darkness and light, about a new dawn for our nation. Here's how she concluded her now memorable poem. In every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country, our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge, battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we are brave enough to see it. If only we are brave enough to be it. Just like our ancestors in Egypt, we too need to find hope in the middle of our current darkness. It is not always easy, but we must find a way to recognize that there is always light, that there is always goodness in the human heart, and that our actions can bring a ray of light and bring about a better future for all of us. So let us choose to be light for us, for others, for our community, for our nation, and for the Jewish people. Let us be that light. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. As we gather our musical team, we invite all of you who are able to stand. Turn to page 586 for Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latit gedula leotzei preshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo
Ushemo
As we prepare for our moment of remembrance, we invite you to turn to page 594. It is a beautiful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your love once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love, what death has touched. Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. As a congregation, we are observing the Shloshim period for Libby J. Savner, mother of Jennifer Savner Levinson and grandmother of Kate and Molly Levinson, and Sony Talpers, mother and mother-in-law of Stacy and Cliff Rope, and grandmother of David and Danielle Rope. And on this Shabbat, we remember the following Yortzites: Jose Adler, Albert Baumgarten, Gerald Cohn, Evelyn Driben, Jean Flam, Irving Gedaldig, David Goldstein, Bernard Kaufman, Naum Chlemsky, Habibola Lavi, Sally Nassau Learman, Myron Levine, Sylvia Levin, Helen J. Miller, Betty Jean Moses, Louis Moses, Barbara Meyer, Mel Pittler, Rowena Robineau, Isaac Rudnick, Abe Steinberg, Karen Towerman, Marshall Weingarten, Jay Willer, Ilya Safslavsky, Sam Zavala Sr., Jack Zurovsky. Zichronam Livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Page 598, we invite you to stand for Kaddish Yatom, the mourners' Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, באלמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובמכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דא אמירם ילמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו
It's time for some announcements. Thank you to Leslie, our wonderful musical team, including Ron and Warren.
And thank you to Scott Franklin for greeting at the door and getting cold hands on all our
And to
behalves.
our bow team.
Our
We have
bow
a team today.
that's so exciting.
Our Shabbat celebrations continue tomorrow with Sichat Shabbat at 9 a.m., followed by Shabbat morning worship at 10:30 in our sanctuary. Our Sichat topic this week is the history of kibbutzim and what it was like to live in one with Nina and David Schick.
Tuesday is Rabbi Scott White's next class, a fresh look at Israel and the Middle East. Please note that dinner and schmoozing part has been replaced with a recap. So 5:30 will start in the sanctuary with a recap and conversation.
Next Friday, a week from tonight, is Shabbat Shira. Our volunteer choir and band will lead us through prayer and song as we celebrate the Song of the Sea and hear music by 3 local composers, Michelle Cox, Stu Lewis, and Leslie Zucker.
And now we give you some opportunities to give back to your community. You can plant a tree in Israel, and by doing so, also help win program funding for the Weiner Religious School. There are also flyers out on the table.
You can come to the Weiner Religious School bake sale, get something yummy to eat, support our religious school, and support the Jewish National Fund.
We're still collecting warm clothes for free hot soup. Drop off new or gently used sweatshirts, sweaters, hats, gloves, and especially heavy socks. Man, this winter is cold. They need the warmth.
And we're also collecting soup for our soup air bowl, soup drive. Our soup tower is looking a bit anemic, but you can build it up bring your soup or have it delivered to CBT by February 11 to help tackle food insecurity in our area.
The football puns never get old. There's so much more going on. We encourage you to participate in your CBT community activities.
And after our closing song, which will be a taste of Passover, no matzah involved.
No matzah.
Please join us for Kiddush and Oneg in the Ulam. If you're able, please stand and join us for Avadim Ha'inu. We were slaves, now we're free.
עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין, 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 עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין,
Shabbat Shalom.
Take care of each other out there.